Of course, this all comes after reports that several pro-democracy demonstrators in the country have been brutalised or killed. Eswatini is Africa's last absolute monarchy ruled by King Mswati III. The opposition PUDEMO party and others are calling for democratic reform. Earlier, Human Rights Watch warned against the arbitrary use of force. To discuss, we're now joined by Dewa Mavhinga from Human Rights Watch. Mr. Mavhinga, thank you for being with us. I understand you're in London, but you are keeping tabs on the situation on the ground in Eswatini. What are you hearing of late?
Yeah, thank you, Francis. In Eswatini, we have several contacts and sources that are telling us that the situation is very bad. Internet shutdown and disruptions continue. The people are running out of food. We know that the SADC tracker team of ministers went in on Sunday, but did not meet with all key people. And opposition groups, civil society, churches, young people, women's groups are demanding an all-inclusive political process that leads to genuine reforms. We have heard today, Francis, from the acting Prime Minister Themba Masuku, that property that was destroyed, government property, private property, is now estimated to be worth 3 billion rands, and that over 1,000 SME properties, small businesses, were looted by protesters. But Masuku did not say anything about the numbers of people that were shot and killed by the security forces. And this is extremely concerning because the indiscriminate attacks on citizens, some of them who were not protesting, is ongoing. It continues under this military takeover. We also know that there are hundreds of people that have been detained and denied bail. Some of them will appear in court on the 9th of July. But the government is not talking about this and is not allowing for an unfettered, open, fact-finding mission where SADC should be able to talk to anyone who has concerns, victims, activists, people who saw what happened, and we have stories to tell.
Well, yes, because the civil groups were saying that SADC is meeting with some groups, but those have been chosen by the government. So you're saying you agree this hasn't been a very broad consultation at all?
Absolutely, because for it to be a genuine, comprehensive fact-finding mission, it needs to be unfettered. It needs not to be controlled by the government. Because remember, Francis, the government is an interested party, is implicated because the authorities are the ones who are accused of shooting and killing, some of them not protesting.
Can I just clarify, are you saying the Eswatini government that is implicated, like you say, is deciding exactly who the SADC delegation will meet, and the delegation is okay with that?
So far, that is the position, and the first part of the mission of the delegation, we understand, has ended, but calls from civil society groups on the ground and also calls that we support for a comprehensive process that is not controlled by the government of Eswatini, where SADC leaders are able to meet with whomsoever they want to and to discuss all the issues that are there and to focus on the legitimate demands that have been put on the table by protesters. But so far, we know that at least 20 groups inside Eswatini have complained that they have not been consulted and that they have no opportunity to speak and present compelling evidence to the SADC tracker team.
Yeah. The Swaziland Solidarity Network also concerned by a statement coming out of there from the leader of Botswana, talking about at least one death. So SADC acknowledges there's been at least one death, but that group says there's been about 40. What is your information?
The information that we are receiving is that there has been at least 40 people who have been killed, most of them shot by the security forces indiscriminately. We have not been able to verify this because of the difficulty in terms of access and also because of the internet shutdown. But what we are also saying is that there is need for an independent investigation into these numbers, to talk to victims, to their families, to talk to people who saw, eyewitnesses who saw these things happen, it cannot be a full fact-finding mission if people do not talk to families of those that say they have lost their loved ones. There are, lists that are circulating with about 40 names of people who have been killed, and that needs to be investigated. Also, there is need to investigate the hundreds that have been arrested and are in detention.
So you're saying even as Human Rights Watch, you can't easily get into the country, put people on the ground to verify the situation. That is not possible.
Yes. Absolutely.
You often talk about governments, but I'd like a comment. MTN has admitted that it did comply with a request from the government to switch off telecoms. And like you said, the internet has been switched off. What is the role of companies in all of this? It must be very difficult. If MTN said no, the government can say pack up and go. But should they?
Well, companies have an important role to ensure that they respect human rights and also that they are not complicit in the abuse of the people. So, yes, we could say that MTN had no choice but to comply. But I think what is important, which is what MTN Group has done, is to come clean and public that, in fact, it had been forced to shut down the internet, because we were receiving information from the Minister of ICT in eSwatini, which was that it was because of damage to property that internet was down, which was not true. So it was very important that the MTN Group then said, no, it's not about damage to property. The truth of the matter is that we were ordered to shut down, which then helps the groups inside eSwatini to approach the courts to compel the government to restore connectivity fully, because this is a violation of the rights of people to access to information and to free expression and to access to internet.
Yeah, at least they have been honest about what happened. Thank you very much, Dewa Mavhinga, Senior Researcher at Southern African Human Rights Watch.